Hello everyone, once again welcome back to Power Distribution channel for all sorts of electrical engineering and power engineering. Today in this video we are going to install or reinstall exactly this switching recloser from previous location to this new distribution feeder on this suburban area. And this is the bushing which has been cleaned on the workshop before being installed. There are two surge arresters on both sides to protect the device from lightning impulse, and this recloser have jumper which come with insulation. First, the crew have to install a pole extension in order to accommodate the recloser being installed on the circuit, since it has a double feeders on this pole. Now the pole extension and its accessories has been assembled and ready to be lifted up. And we have this voltage transformer to step down a voltage to supply the inverter inside the control box. And the linemen on the pole are receiving the extension for the pole. They are aligning the pole with the hole itself and then to be bolted using bolt machines. And these are the disconnecting switches that will be installed on both sides of the recloser, in and out. These switches will be used or operated during the maintenance of the recloser itself, which to add extra safety to the personnel. And now the extension are already fixed on top of the pole, and the crew are ready to proceed to make a double dead end suspension on the upper circuit using suspension insulators. We will be using 6 of these suspension insulators with 2 of each phases for 20 kilovolt system voltage. And this is the strain clamp used to terminate the overhead conductors. Meanwhile, the ground crew are prepare all the necessary parts to install the disconnecting switches on the pole. And the linemen are ready to install the suspension insulator one by one on the crossarm. Both sides of the suspension insulator have been installed, and the crew are now installing the crossarm for the disconnecting switches on both sides. Some of the crew are cutting the wires using wire cutter, and some of the crew are installing the disconnecting switches. This is the air brake switch, which will be installed on the topmost of the circuit, and the crew are installing the switch one by one. And the bottom linemen are replacing the existing crossarm with a wider crossarm to accommodate the jumpers that comes from the recloser to the upper circuit. As you can see, we are using a 3-meter size crossarm. After all the assembly is ready on top of the pole, now the crew are loading up the recloser to be installed on the pole. As you can see, the maneuvering is quite a bit tricky since there are a lot of wires, telecommunication wires, as well as secondary service wires on the pole. Meanwhile, the ground crew are prepare all the jumpers necessary for the connection between the recloser, the disconnecting switches to the overhead lines. We use a triple AC sheeted wire for the jumpers. The recloser is being mounted on the pole. All the necessary jumper are ready and being transferred onto the pole. The linemen are pulling the jumpers from above, and then they connect the jumpers that come from the recloser into the disconnecting switch. And as you can see, some of the jumper already pressed into the overhead lines and the disconnecting switches. The rest of the jumper is being installed. And the other side of the recloser. The ground crew are installing the control cubicle for this recloser. And then installing the jumper from the potential transformer to the phase R and the phase T. After all the jumper are being installed, the crew reshape the jumper so that it meets the minimum spacing between phase. After the control cubicle is being installed, then the engineers and the technician are connect this cubicle into the computer to be configured, such as the OCR value and the GFR or ground fault relay value. The installation is almost finished, and the job left to do is to install the link and the operating arm for the air brake switches. That you have it, guys, the installation process of automatic switching recloser on distribution feeder. If you enjoy this kind of video, don't forget to subscribe and give us like to support us to make more content in the future. Thank you.